Hey y'all, I am back and I wanted to talk to y'all about this whole notion of God is love. And I see this a lot, especially on social media, but just in general, this agenda, because that's what it is of, God is love. And what's really meant by that is that God is just down for any and everything. And I've come here to tell you that he's not, straight up. I do not know what Bible people are reading where God is just down for whatever. Now God, little g, Satan, the current ruler of this world, Satan don't care. He is down for whatever. As long as you are not following God's commandments, Satan could care less what you are doing. And that's the God that's being pushed. Not the true living God, because the true living God of the Bible is not down for any and everything. Sodom and Gomorrah. But yeah. So again, I don't know what Bible people are reading, but it's an agenda that you need to be cognizant about, because you can get caught up in thinking that God is just going to accept sin. God is not going to just accept sin. God judges sin. God of yesterday, God of present, and God of tomorrow does not change. God has always judged sin. I'm going to take the Israelites, for example. Now, the Israelites, God's chosen people, were a stiff-necked people. Very stiff-necked. And the crazy thing about it is that they kept on going against God's commandments. After God said, do not go against my commandments, what did they do? They're like, all right, bet, we're going to go against your commandments. So God was like, okay, cool. I'm going to let these other nations oppress you and enslave you because you're going against my commandments. Y'all, go back in the Old Testament. The book of Judges specifically, there's a reason why it's called Judges, because the Israelites were being judged. But anywho, so slavery wasn't a new phenomenon to the Israelites. They were in and out of slavery all throughout the Old Testament. And you won't know that unless you read the word for yourself. But anywho, they were in and out of slavery all throughout the Old Testament. And God allowed this because the Israelites kept on going against God's commandments. Now, people might be like, oh, well, that's not fair. And, this, that, and the third. And, oh, well, why would God do that? Ask God, But again, you go against God's commandments and he is a just God. So a just God is going to judge sin. You can't sin and then be mad at the punishment that you're getting from sinning when you could have just avoided that by not sinning. But anywho, so yeah, the Israelites were in and out of slavery. So that right there tells you that God loved his people. Because remember, the Israelites were a chosen people, God's chosen people, but he still punished them for their sin. So I don't know what type of God society is pushing. Well, I do know what type. They're pushing Satan, but I'm just saying, the type of God they're pushing is not the God of the Bible, because God has always, punished sin. Do not get caught up in thinking that God is just down for whatever, down for you living in sin. And it's very hypocritical of us, because I'll tell you why. Example, romantic relationships. If you with somebody, you love them, right? You care about them deeply. Well, they and everybody in their mama's DMs flirting with people, they cheating on you, right? Are you going for that? I know 99.9% of people are not going for that. So if we as flawed human beings are not even going for that type of behavior, we love them, but we're not accepting that type of behavior, Why do we go to a perfect being and be like, yeah, you got to accept this behavior? That doesn't even make any sense. And the crazy thing is that God even gives us grace to correct our wrongs, right? But instead, what we do, we, what's the word I'm looking for? We don't take accountability, which means that we don't allow ourselves an opportunity to even change, because in order to change, you have to, be accountable. So basically what I'm trying to say is, say like the person is cheating on you, right? And instead of being like, you know what, this is bad behavior, I need to correct this. Instead of doing that, they say, oh, the reason why I'm cheating on you is because you're not spending time with me. So they just dismiss any type of accountability on their end and blamed you for their behavior, right? It's kind of like what we do when it comes to Jesus. Oh, Jesus, you made me do this. Oh, Jesus, you made me this way, right? No type of accountability on our end, but we place it all on God, and it's like, oh, well, it's on you, so I don't got to change. That's exactly what we do when it comes to Jesus. So I just wanted to mention that because, this culture is a culture of just being offended. It's cool to be offended now, which is weird. If you're not offended, I mean, it's the littlest stuff, y'all. Sometimes I'm just like, what? Like, how are yeah. It's like, if you're not offended, then you're not cool anymore. It's just weird. But, you have people running around now thinking that 1 + 1 = 500 million, and you can't correct that because somebody is going to be offended. And the crazy thing is that when you try to correct it and be like, nah, 1 + 1 = 2, it's hate speech, right? And we've blurred the lines between what love is and hate. We need to remember that there is a difference between earthly love, what we define love as, and biblical love. Biblical love includes correction. God loves us, gives us grace, but he corrects us. And there is punishment to bad behavior, i.e. sin. Earthly love is do whatever. Nobody needs to be accountable for anything. And anything and everything goes, right? And I'm not surprised, because who is the ruler of this current world? Satan. And again, Satan could care less. As long as you are going against God's commandments and not following God's commandments, Satan could care less what you are doing. So with all that being said, be wary of this whole God is love, because one thing about God is that he is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. God judges sin straight up. So don't get caught slipping out here in these streets. Yeah.